Me too. This is going to be a lot of fun. Well, while people are coming in, I'll introduce myself a little bit here. I'm Swarm. You might have seen me on tour with Sullivan King, or you might just listen to my music. Either way, I make creepy, dark music that it's kind of dancey, I guess, but it's also kind of metal, and it's also kind of industrial. I just do whatever I like to hear, honestly. Oh, hey, man, how you doing? Oh, shit. I hope I can say shit. If not, just someone correct me, please. I'll do my best, though. I'll do my best. Okay. But anyways, I've released on Cannibal Records. I have released on Bass Rush. I've done official remixes for Crywolf, AT-Aliens. I had a collab with Sullivan King come out on Cannibal Records last year. But what I'm going to do today is show you... What's up, man? Hey, Tim, what's up? Hello? Yes, Alex, I'm recording. Where was I at? Oh, yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up two of my project files today. I have Blood, my new song that came out just a few days ago. Or I guess, man, it's almost like 2 weeks now. Holy crap, that's wild. And what's up, Sean? How you doing? Say shit a lot. Okay, thank you, Alex. Thank you for the go-ahead. I will. So what I was saying, I'm going to go through Blood and All Hope Is Lost. And I'll kind of show you. I wanted to do those songs because Blood is really heavy. And I like the mix down I was able to get on that. And then All Hope Is Lost. I think there'll be opportunity to show you some things that I could have done differently as far as mixing goes, retrospectively, but you live and you learn. So, and also that has a lot of really cool orchestration. Hello, how's it going? Thanks, Eric. He says, cute choker. Thank you. Thank you. This is, I have to wear this when I produce or else I just can't make music. I'm just joking. But yeah. Let's see if there's anything else I need to cover before we go. But yeah, along the way, I'm going to keep checking the chat. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. And I think that's about it. Let's get into it. Y'all ready? Sick. I'm going to take that as a yes. I had to put down my headphones because I was echoing. So you guys can hear me okay? Sick. All right. So, I will need my headphones for this portion, though. Where did I put them? Oh, here they are. So, I'm going to start with Blood because well, for one, it's the newest song, and two, I was able to get a lot of cool things that I haven't been able to do before, and it's also the most in-depth I can go with my sounds and just kind of the latest shit I've been up to. Shit. I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm going to ramble about this project. All right. So for one, hate it or love it, I use my drums and MIDI to start, and then I usually bounce it to audio. But in this case, I left the kick as is. I have a couple different ones that I use a lot. Actually, you know what I'm going to do here? Give me 1 second. I'm going to monitor that off. Okay. Now that I'm not echoing. Okay, so this the Swarm kick is it's a kick I've just kind of just progressed in the layers I put on it for a while now. It started as a couple different layers, and now I just merged them all into one when I got the mix how I liked it. But so that's why that one's going to be MIDI, because I think it works. Okay, I'm just going to go over a brief overview of what I have going on here. So the whites are either sidechained in my projects or they are frozen MIDI. Let's see. So in this case, these are the sidechains. I'm using LFO tool to sidechain mostly. I don't always use LFO tool, but it really depends on what I'm going for, honestly, because sometimes things need a lot more bounce and sometimes they don't. So I either use the glue compressor or I use LFO tool for things that need a lot of bounce to them. Sick. Hi, this is Swarm and you're watching the Disney Channel. Fuck. All right. All right, I opened my chat back up here, so if you guys have any questions, just go for it, and I'll try to stop and remember where I was at, because I have a hard time with that. Okay, so if you haven't heard the song, here is what it sounds like. And then it goes into this the swarmy chorus. I always like to put choruses in my songs because either they have vocals and it needs something to like stick in your head. I don't like just using vocals on the build-ups. Usually, you know, there's sometimes, like in this case, this is one word, and sometimes that works. Yeah, I'll roast myself after I teach you. But I like having a memorable part that repeats throughout the song at, you know, usually two different points.
Make your music stand out, get more views, and way more engagement. Bring your music to life. Get Music Visualizer. In every format, even for social media. Get started today. The link is in the description.
Like in my last EP, I had Eat Me Alive that had like a reoccurring chorus with like a lot of big choirs and lots of double kick and all that kind of stuff. So I like having that because it for one, it's my thing, and the one thing that I've learned that is really, really beneficial is make a thing and run with it. If you like what you know, whatever that thing is, just fucking go for it. Hey Dave, how you doing? What are you oh man, you guys are going too fast. What are you side chaining to what with multiple side chains? Okay, so that's a great question. So this one is bass. You can see it's the routing. You can see that on my screen, can't you? No, you can't. Wonderful. Oh yes, you can. Cool. So right here, you see this is going to the bass bus. This is going to the melody bus. This is going to the sub bus. So I do that because you know, sometimes you need to tweak a couple little things. These are just straight MIDI tracks. There's literally no information on them. They're going straight to the sidechain to the LFO tools here. So I'll show you. Here's the bass bus for this, and it is going to this. As you can see, this is currently turned off because I don't need a crazy bounce during some parts, so I just turn it off. It's set to being retriggered by MIDI, so when it's off, that means I need something to just straight cut through. I don't need it to duck or anything. Cool. Yes. Please remind me of good side chaining tips for Ableton. Because I'm going to get sidetracked a lot, believe me. So you're going to need to remind me of everything. Jesse, I mean, I have a sample pack. What I do is, it's not official, like it's not on Splice. What I do is I make sounds all the time. Sometimes I have just sound design like sessions where I'm just, you know, if I got a new instrument for Kontakt or something, I'll just go through, play around with it. And I'll just give those away. I'll put them in a pack. I'll label them by key, BPM, and I'll label them by like drum fills, you know, bass, atmospheres, all that kind of good stuff. And then I'll just give them away. Like that's just my way of just like, hey, I think these are cool. Maybe you'll like them too. The top left of my screen is hidden behind your face. Where would you like me to put my face? I can shrink my face. Let's do this. Is that better? Is my face that troublesome? All right, well, let's see if we can roll with this then. If you can't see something, I'll try to run through that. Kevin, remind me of that. I'll go through my drums. That's a fun one. Okay, so then here's a chorus segment here. So you get the idea there. It has a melody. It has a melody that'll recur throughout this, usually the build up and the second drop. Let's see here. Then we have a break with some cool orchestration. The beginning, this brings it back around to the beginning here. So you have my children's choir. Then my favorite part, orchestration. And second drop. I'll go back over all these parts. I just want to get you the idea of it. So. And there you have that. Brings it back around to the first drops chorus. Raymond, I will get into the choir. This was actually about 5 different ones. But so you basically, my whole thing is the way I approach things is more of a song perspective. It's not just the drops. It's not just the melody, or like it's not just being creepy. It's never about any of that. It's just like I want this to sound really cohesive, and I want it to sound like a song. Like I want you to be able to listen to this when EDM, wherever it ends up, I want you to be able to listen to this and be like, that's a good song. So that is definitely my number one thing. So I'm going to kind of break this down a little bit. I can't go into much detail about how Castor made his sounds. Thank you, Aaron. You mentioned before that you reference metal tracks, riffs, or your songwriting. Any favorite metal artist songs that you reference and work on your stuff? Actually, I don't reference, but I'm just super inspired by. So right now it's power metal. Literally in the car on the way here, I was listening to Rhapsody of Fire. It's just epic. It's just insane drums, insane just choirs, and like just the most badass fucking singing that you could ever possibly imagine. So that, and like Chelsea Grin, their newer stuff has just been unbelievable for inspiring me. And I don't use a lot of like electronic tracks to reference. I do with mixes, but as far as music, I try to stay away from listening to a bunch of electronic music because I'm trying to, quote unquote, stay in my lane. Because if I listen to too much dubstep or too much mid-tempo or, what have you, it's going to make me kind of think of things differently. So of course, like I still listen to plenty of electronic music, but I try to listen to the stuff that I really, really enjoy, that I grew up listening to. My favorite band on earth is Rammstein. Anybody who has followed me for any length of time will know that. So they have just everything's chug, 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 and then like really powerful vocals and very simplistic patterns, but patterns that are catchy and like just nail themselves in your head. That's what I want to do, and that's why a lot of my stuff you'll hear, for example here, in the chorus. So this is what it sounds like together. So that you are hearing so many elements together, but thank you. I'm glad you guys like my fills. Yeah, dude. Yeah, black metal has crazy drum fills, and I'm definitely inspired by that a little bit too. I love Dimmu Borgir. It's just unbelievable. So let me show you what I'm doing here. So what you hear is my synths in something like this, and this is where I usually start a song. I get a cool melody that I like, and then I'll build I try to get, as if you're talking about a reference, I try to think about guitar chugs. I'm not trying to make a guitar sound, but I'm trying to make it have the same feel. So where's Sam? He's over here. He's sleeping right now. Poor boy. He's had a rough day. So I have it frozen here. Here's what it sounds like all together and processed, but I'm going to show you the layers that go into it. So this is my guitar sound. Again, I'm not trying to make a guitar. I'm not trying to emulate a guitar. I'm trying to have it have the feel of a guitar, because I think that's what that's my thing, and I've run with it, and you know, I really enjoy it. So here's what it sounds like on its own. And this is when I need to turn this off. Let's try that again. So you have that kind of chug, you know, palm mute sound. And it's not enough to just have that. And this is all things that I learned over a long time. I started off with a different sound, and I still do use that sound a lot, but this one has that just fuck you, I'm gonna beat you senseless in the face feel of like a guitar breakdown. So so that's that. Let me show you the other element that makes it have that punchy feel to it. Man, this is really fun. Thanks for being here. This is a lot of fun. I've literally never shown anybody how I do this before. So here's the other element of this. So here are the drums together. So what you're hearing is the main kick, but you're also hearing, so I can collapse these here because these are useless. You're hearing the cymbals that I program, because I program the fills, the cymbals, and the kick all together, and then I separate them into the different elements to export as audio and render and mix and render how I need to. So all you see here is this is all programmed by hand. Believe me, it's a delight. It's the funnest thing I could possibly imagine doing. Not for real, it's pretty fun. It's really cool when you get a great feel. So this is playing over the kick. Okay, so this is where it gets pretty weird, but it works for me, so I'm just gonna roll with it. So this is the frozen kick here. I try to, all these have a lot of velocity randomizers on it, but very, very small amounts. So, so the kick has very little, because you want to always have that punch, but I put a velocity randomizer enough to where it's going to have a little bit of variation, but I don't want it to be super mechanical. But it needs to always punch really hard. So that's that. So and then you have the drum fills. That's how I export them, is all cymbals. I process them separately. All of the toms and snares, those are all separate. And then all of the kicks are separate. And you'll notice here that all of the kicks are missing where the main kick hits. So this is what I mean by the main kick. This here is the main kick. So you'll hear, let me solo these ones here. These never clash because they're supposed to work in unison. This sounds different. This has a lot less low end on it. This has a lot more punch and gone. And it's meant to layer underneath my sense to help give it that feel of like, this is cool, this is double kick and shit. So here are those together. But together, it sounds like this. So that's where you get the punch underneath my guitar bass. And that was something that took me a while to learn, and I didn't do it quite right at first, but I learned, okay, I'm not gonna side chain these to the kick. I'm just gonna just have no metal kick, is what I call it, underneath the, yeah, thanks for being here. I'm just gonna totally take them out underneath the kick. So that is something that's worked for me, and it really gives so much drive to stuff. I will not lie to you. I would love to say that I stood on top of a mountain and received a revelation from up high. But guess what? All of these things are just accidents. Literally just accident. I do not sidechain the sub to the double kick, no, because they are in like a similar frequency, but the sub is sidechained to the main kick. I do, however, depending on the mix, if the mix needs it or not, I will use something I found called Track Spacer. It's very cool. This is a really cool tool that I found. So basically, it's you choose your frequency. So say I have something, between this and 1,000 hertz. If there's something that's like really clashing that they both need to be there, but one of them just has to give a little. Yes, one main kick, one supporting, exactly. I will take this, I will run the side chain to whatever I need it to duck from. It doesn't duck the volume at all. It only ducks that specific frequency. So if I'm listening to man, these cymbals are interfering too much with XXX, so I'll take this, put it on my cymbals, and put the input to whatever I need it to kind of back off from. This is cool. It's like $40. It's amazing. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's amazing. Okay. Let's see. I saw, man, these disappear so fast. I need to load more comments. Hold on. Because there was a good one that I really wanted to touch on, and I can't remember it. If I didn't answer your question, type it again, because I forgot. I forget really easily. Okay, so yes, one kick supporting the main kick, then the snare, which is, this is the first song I've used this new Swarm snare on. It's thick as fuck. It's like a boulder just got fucking dropped on your head, and I love it. I like making music, okay? I hope you can tell that by now. So now these are already layered. You could see it was a lot of different things, but it was a lot of very small things stacked on each other, and especially the attack. But here's that. Hello. So it's just in your face, super heavy, but it cuts through pretty well, which is really cool. I really like all the FabFilter stuff. FabFilter stuff's amazing. Yes. How long do I spend on my tracks? That's what I wanted. Tracy, I'll get to that because that is, oh my God, I just lost my train of thought. I'll get to that because I'm going to show you each layer. And that's super interesting because it's really weird. So yeah, this is a bunch of, I bounce a lot of things to audio, stack them up, process them how I want, a bunch of different layers, then just export it all as one thing. Like this is the snare. Here is this perfect. I made it specifically for this song, and I'm going to start using it on everything now. It's EQ, or it's taking away it's sidechain to the kick right around here, so it's ducking a little bit. It's just a simple the glue sidechain. I use glue sidechain as much as possible because it's awesome. Specifics on sidechain, Christian, I do master my tracks. If we have time to get into it, I will. But yes, if we have time. No, I don't, Raymond. I do not use math. I go strictly by ear. If something's bouncing too much, I don't want to have an LFO tool on it, because even though I know you can do you can do very specific things with it, I would rather just use a glue sidechain EQ, which is this here. This is my main sidechain for anything that doesn't need a lot of bounce. Like if it's a 4/4 thing, or 4/4 in the sense of like it needs a lot of bounce to it, then I'll use that, or I'll use LFO tool. But most of the time, especially with these choruses, I'll use the glue compressor. Okay, so the bass. And Amy, I saw your. My songs, this one in particular took about a week start to finish with Castor, sending it back and forth. He sent me an idea. I totally mangled it and just sent it back, and we both loved it. That was in about 2 days. And then he sent me back another idea. Then I just, I pretty much ran with that, and then it was done. So I bet 5 days total. Yeah. I definitely think doing things by ear is the best way. Oh, no, you're fine. This is good. Yeah, I only sidechain the main kick unless it really needs it. If something's very crowded, I'll sidechain to that metal kick. But normally it would just be like track spacer on something like that if it really needs it. I think I used it a couple times on this. So casters, I can't really go into much detail about that because that was bounced already. But his sounds are just gargantuan. It's just ridiculous. Amy, no, it's cool. If something relays or relates to what I'm talking about, I'll add it in. But plus, I'm going to be going over the main points of these songs anyway. So, all right. So here we heard the bass together. We'll hear it again real quick, just so we can, you know. Okay. So that is the Frozen Layers. Chris, that's literally what we're doing right now. So good timing. Okay, so that sounds like a monster that is just eating, just the whole population of Earth. But it also kind of sounds like a guitar. So this is the main layer. This is the layer you hear up top. It does a lot of things. It starts in Serum. It goes through a lot. It goes through guitar amp and shit. But here it is. That's what it sounds like on top. And I'm going to try to keep the volume even for you so you don't die. But, yep, so that's the main. But that by itself won't do it. No, I start from blank projects unless I already have an idea started that I want to scrap. If there's a part of a project I like that I just couldn't do anything with, I'll, erase whatever, then start from there. But I don't use templates, no. All right, so, and then here's the second layer. It's like a bit crushed saw layer. It's Serum with the down sample on it. And thanks, guys. Then the second one this is what brings it all together. It's a pick bass. So it's Kontakt. I'll show you exactly what's going on here. This is Shreddage, I believe I'm using right now. No, Eurobass. So I recently upgraded Eurobass, but here is what that sounds like. This is the layer that gives it kind of that gritty hand played effect. So that is that. Sometimes, depending if I need to, I'll turn on distortion. And then I'll have to kind of EQ some of those higher parts out. But this one in particular is that. So it's just literally sounds like somebody sitting there with in a metal band picking. Usually I run that in mono too. But we'll see. It just depends. Sometimes things need more width, so I'll run it wide. And it definitely doesn't really cause much phase issues. So sometimes I have to kind of fuck around with it. But my favorite non-Kontakt libraries. Oh, Kontakt. Oh, perfect, dude. Kontakt is the shit. Spire and Kontakt are my two favorite things ever. Spire is hard to get some lower notes because it's the way it's set up. It doesn't really want to go low unless you're in a specific key. But it kind of I run into that problem sometime with this. I've been working the past few weeks to make a new sound. Thanks, guys. Dude, the Eurobass is amazing. Probably not going to be doing, I'm not going to say no. I might do some streams on Twitch. I'm not going to do production streams because that's my alone time, and that's what, it's kind of my hobby. So I don't really want to broadcast that to the world, but I would love to do more like these. Okay, so that all together is what makes this sound after processing and then flattening, basically. And then it gets to this. And I took the sidechain off the LFO tool that was on that one just so you could actually hear everything when I soloed it. But we'll re-enable that real quick. There we go. Yeah, Eurobass is unbelievable. So the subgroup, it's very simple. I'm just following. If something goes up to like an octave above, I keep it at low because, I'm trying to basically this and the pick bass follow the same pattern because I want them to kind of work in harmony, not clash, but it's some pretty easy stuff. I love, again, FabFilter stuff. I have a really simple setting of Neutron on here. And yes, actually in this particular case, because of the tune, it was in the key of B. So actually you could probably see, nope, you can't. So this song is at 150 BPM. I guess you can't see that, but oh well. And that when my sounds are at a faster tempo, even though it doesn't necessarily sound like 150, it needs a different kind of sub to kind of balance things out. And it took me a while to find this, but I could probably I can unfreeze this real quick. I'm just trying to make sure my CPU doesn't die. Juggernaut 808s, it has a little bit of a glide on it, so it's pretty. Here we go. You can't really hear that. It's really low. And by the way, if you guys don't, or if you guys are just have some money burn a hole in your pocket, a sub pack to go on the back of your chair will change your life. That's why I've been able to get my mixes a little more to where I want them because of this. You can feel the frequencies. It's insane. But anyways, okay. Well, I'm gonna let this freeze. Let's see. No. Not trying to sell you anything. Your bass is cool. I discovered it a few months ago, and it's so clean, and it has so much randomization of velocity in it, but it's very small. It just sounds real. Damn. What? Saturn 2 just came out? What? No way. Okay, I gotta check that out. Thank you. Saturn's awesome. I definitely use Saturn quite a bit. So here is, I'll just show you what these sound like. So here's the beginning, and it's a choir that builds up into this massive, Brahm, but it was like a bunch of layers, but I'll show you this real quick. So here is this. So that was that shit. And then here's one of the layers I just soloed to put out to the end. So there's a gritty, nasty layer on top, or this is below this nasty, really, has a lot of high frequencies in it. So that they just kind of layer each over. They're cut right in the middle, probably around 400 or 500 hertz, just to kind of sit on top of each other nicely. But I'll get back into the lead-in of that. So this is where it's gonna be fun. Oh, dude, sub packs are amazing. I have the S2, I think. I think it's the S2, the one that sits on your chair. It's pretty reasonably priced. More yeah, dude, the subs. Well, I'm really only happy with my subs recently. I didn't really. It was a long road before that because you can only hear so much without an actual sub, and this changed my life for sure. Thank you. Oh no, sub packs also. Well, keep checking Amazon or whatever, because I ordered one and it said it would be a month, and it was 5 days. So just the FX. I make about 75% of the, if you're talking about the whooshes and risers and all that kind of stuff. Risers, I'll usually do something in Kontakt and edit it to how I like. Whooshes and stuff, it depends. But if you're talking about noise effects and dramatic effects, the simple stuff like risers, and so it's probably half and half. It just depends on how I'm feeling. Especially if I'm in the groove, I just want to throw something on there real quick, because there's no point in wasting 20 minutes with my mindset on a riser where this white noise riser sounds fine. Oh wow. Okay, so do not fear. There is not everything is bounced to audio here, but I will get to show you quite a bit of how I did this. So this is the melody bus, and I'm sure you've already noticed this, but everything I do is separated into buses by type usually. So this is the melodics of the atmosphere, atmospheres that don't need to be very in the background and thin. This is the main melody here. I'll actually show you how I made this. Let me go ahead and throw that in there. So here is the main melodies here. I have this piano pluck here that I believe I use Kontakt for. I believe so. And this is, I think you'll find this one really interesting. So this is. What's up, man? Side note, earlier when I was testing everything out, I noticed that the stereo width was really weird when I recorded it. So I'm not sure how, wide it sounds for you guys, but it definitely reduced it by a lot. I was, all the settings were right, but I don't know, who knows. But you still get the idea. Okay, so this is, if you've listened to my music any, length of time, this will sound familiar. So it's like a drifty, melody kind of thing, but you might be surprised of what it's made of. So I name all my stuff really weird, just stupid names that I just need to stop doing, but I think it's funny. Yeah, Keith, I do double harmonic scale is one of my favorites. It's super dark, and especially in B, A, B flat, G sharp, A flat, whatever you want to call it, are all my favorite. I'd say probably B flat is my favorite. So this is how I make that sound. It is a strings VST, strings instrument, run through a Dirt by Native Instruments Scream. It's called the Demonic Scream. I thought that was cool. It's a distorted cello that is, the portamento mode is unreal. It just makes you, the way it just drifts from note to note is just unbelievable. So it's a distorted, reverbed cello, basically. And it was a very interesting, when I first found that out, I was just really stoked. So here's an example of what I'll do when I make this. So here was some cool chords I like. Basically, I'll play around on my keyboard or whatever. But if you guys aren't already using the scale function on Ableton, hold on, let me move myself so you can see. You can't really see. I'll just show you here. So you'll see at the bottom now. Okay, kinda. What if I do this? There we go. So double harmonic scale is one of my favorite scales because it makes everything sound like very exotic and dark and awesome as fuck. And that is the official statement of why I use that. Let me adjust my thing here. So you can see the notes that it uses, but this is how I sometimes, depending on the mood I want to go for, I'll play around with the scale function, and it basically just locks whatever you're playing into whatever scale you want. So you can get ideas. Usually I don't stay in this, but I'll get some cool progression ideas from it. So here is, this is going to be very loud, so I need to turn that down. Okay, so this is what you're hearing here. This is how I made it. And it does not sound the same without the reverb. And it does, but not right. But this is where it sounds different. So that's straight strings there. So all these together. So that is my little weapon to get a really cool background, really cool feel. And especially with like, because I do a lot of exotic melodies, so that is my go-to. And a lot of times I'll divide that up between strings and that instrument. No, Ashley, you're awesome as fuck. I haven't used random on the scale. Maybe one day I need to. No, I don't think so. I don't think default. Well, this one in particular is the range of the higher strings to the lower strings, but normally they're all the same. So this is a special little surprise here, I guess. A little treat, if you will. Okay, so that is the lead. Now we get to get to my favorite part in the whole wide world that I just want to run to the top of the mountain and scream about, which is orchestration. Orchestral
Make your music stand out, get more views, and way more engagement. Bring your music to life. Get Music Visualizer. In every format, even for social media. Get started today. The link is in the description.
Orchestral stuff is my favorite thing ever, and I'm learning more things about it every day. So let me go ahead and deactivate these because I don't want my computer to die. Okay. That was a caster specialty. Some crying, a little piano plug. This is pretty self-explanatory. I mean, you can listen to it if you want to. Probably turn that up a little bit for you. A little bit of delay on it. But again, this all starts as MIDI, but I encourage everybody who doesn't bounce out a lot of MIDI to audio, just give it a shot. It helps you decide faster. It can speed up your workflow. Like if you like something, export it to audio. You can always save the track. You'll give yourself some processing power and it'll make decisions a lot easier. Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it. Thank you, Shane. So, here we got a little bit of atmospheres. You're not gonna, probably honestly on here, you're probably not gonna be able to hear them. They're very low. Some side chains. This goes along with the drop. There's some side chain, like background blasts of the same thing that had a very long reverb tail on it that we decided to kind of cut short, but we had it LFO tooled. So you can hear this. They're very simple, but it gives a little bit of dimension. Sick. I'm glad you guys like it. All right. Atmosphere. Okay, we did that. Let's see. I honestly have no idea what this is. It's the same melody as the other one, but let's find out. Oh yeah. Little VST women's voice there. So that's just following. That's following the distorted cello that was up top. It's just a lower layer just to give it a little bit of depth. And all you guys know, if you've listened to my music, I love big, giant, massive, otherworldly sounding things. I do, Lance, I do run into sub power issues, but to be honest, that was the first thing those were the keys I started writing in first. I learned ways to make it work. Because if you listen to my songs again, I'm not about balls out heavy. I am about balls out heavy, but in like a different kind of roundabout way. So the sub is just that final little layer at the bottom, because I do leave some of the lower register in where it needs to be up in my synths, because that synth has a lot of low end by nature. I don't need to use a ton of sub on, just in the track in general. I always have sub, but it's definitely not the main thing. Like if I was making straight dubstep, I might run into some sub issues like B flat, but yeah, so it's not the focus, but just finding the place that really is resonating and hitting hard. Again, that's where sub pack will come in handy. You can just go along the spectrum with your EQ and just see what makes it sound even, and all that kind of good stuff. But so yes, I do sometimes, especially in like a crazier song, but not usually run into sub issues there. Oh, how long does it take me to mix this? God damn it. Okay, so it could literally be 1 day. I mix as I go along. So anything you're seeing here, these are like renders that if I'm happy with something, I render it, I bounce it audio, and then it's done to me. Then I'll just kind of level it out in the mix later. But I don't just throw things on and then keep going. I mix. So I mix as I go along. Yeah, Chris, it's about perceived heaviness, exactly. But it does still hit. I'm learning new ways to make things hit harder now. Especially playing bigger stages, which is cool. But again, my opinion on things shifted a little bit getting the sub pack, because some of the things I've done in the past have not hit quite as well as I like, but some of them did. So I've kind of used those as references to go off of for the future. But I don't like writing in D. I don't like rec. I don't like D, E, F. I do like F sharp. I have one song in E and one song in F. And that's because I just don't like those keys. Those, for me personally, are just not what I like. I like the ones that sound more like mysterious and dark and all that kind of stuff. Is like C sharp even. My song "Eat Me Alive" was in C sharp, and that I really like that key a lot. So Hitman with Sullivan King was in C sharp. I don't know. I just get ideas of ways to think outside the box just a little bit, and I just kind of run with them. And for me, especially anywhere from B to A flat are my favorite. I haven't worked Blake. Oh wait, damn it, that one got. Oh wait, Christian. You think using a kick with a long tail could work? We're getting strong sub in those keys. I don't. It depends on what style you're going for. I think if you're doing something that's a little more straightforward, like my songs are pretty much anything but straightforward, and that's kind of pointing the finger at myself there, but they're pretty weird. So yeah, maybe, yeah, especially like in if you're doing, I'm gonna get shot for saying this, but a big room song in A flat, you probably definitely could use like a long tail kind of spliced into a sub. That would give it more power. Sure, absolutely. For my music, not really. No, it would actually make it it would make it worse than it already is. Okay, I'm just joking though, but it doesn't personally work for me, but I could see it definitely would. Piano hits, super simple. I try to put these little cascading melodies or up and down melodies in a lot of my songs, as you'll hear in the next one. Very simple here. Literally just a little bit of delay at the end. Some of them have more delay than others. Like that one doesn't even have the last note because it goes right back into those ridiculously choppy, heavy synths that Blake, no, I don't, because I'll be honest with you, my music, I don't focus. I try to remember the danceability aspect and the club aspect. I don't make my music for that. I make my music for people at home to listen to, but I want it to always work live. So when you're talking about how do I keep the danceability in my track, that is something if I'm bobbing my head, again, that's just my own ear. If I'm bobbing my head and I'm like, damn, this is sick, this has a groove to it, that's all I want. I want it to be a groove that you can just bob your head to, because all my favorite bands, Korn has an incredible groove. They just have that bouncy, ridiculously low sub clicky, clicky guitar bass that just bounces, and it's super simple. And that's what I've always tried to do, because that's what I like. And I don't think about danceability. I will rein myself back sometimes if I'm just like, okay, this is so far out in left field, I don't think that this will work live. Then either I find a way to kind of fix that, or I say I don't care and I'm going to put it on an EP. And if nobody, because like "Eat Me Alive," for example, with Sounder off my last EP, I keep using that song as an example, but it's very weird. It has side trance. It goes from 130 BPM to 110 BPM, so it has a tempo change, and it has two different side drops that are not quite sigh, and then two different choruses that are not quite anything, really. They're more metal than anything. They have lots of double kick. So that song I knew from the start, like, it's probably not going to, I'll play it out live all day. because, you know, when people, I feel like by now people know that I'm going to kind of take an atypical direction with my sets, because my music is kind of weird. So to answer your question, I can't really answer that question. No, but if I feel like it has a groove and I can just straight nod my head to it and just like, yeah, damn, that's sick. That's all I do. Preferred vocal or choir plugin. Usually I use Requiem. It's a choir plugin by Audio, maybe? I don't. We'll see. I'll show you the one I'm using on this though. Okay, those are outro effects. Okay, so now I have a separate bus for the orchestration. Here is what we are looking at there. I will hopefully I'll be able to show. I'll show you the plugin I was using for sure though. So this is. So that's that. Then here we have this lovely orchestration piece here, which is way simpler than you'd think, as is a lot of orchestration. So that last one was just downsampled and put through Saturn's Antique filter, I think. So basically, it doesn't look like a lot. Again, this is heavily bounced, but I can still show you kind of all that went into it. So what I do here, actually you can see some of the velocity manipulating I did. This is a very easy one, and this was totally by accident. Okay, that's the same as before. This was, again, like I knew originally this was very different. It was very, it didn't have this orchestration piece in it, or it did at the end, but it wasn't quite right. But let's see what's in here. But I added this arpeggiator and the, yeah, and I had to play with the rate a little bit, and then, you know, the steps it was doing, but then... So that is where this double harmonic scale is coming into play. I had to kind of figure out how to end it on a dark note. I don't want it, because it definitely has like a major quality to it, but then it kind of just, as everything I do does, just kind of fucking drops out at the end. It's just like, oh fuck, it's dark again, which is what I want. You know, I like that. Oh, thank you, Aaron. I appreciate that. So that is, I'll show you exactly what I'm using here. This is the first song. I bought it specifically for this song again. This is the best orchestral instrument that I use almost every time now. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, Requiem's that. Yes, and Chris, the industrial ARP, I used it for another song, and I just used it. It's not even nearly the same preset as I made for my Ghostbane remix, but it is, I fucked it. It's not even close to be, but I just kept it the same and I didn't rename it. So, but yeah, you can make some really cool patterns with that, as long if you're playing around with chords, and oh, so cool. Okay, so this is Nucleus by Audio Imperia. I have a lot of shit stacked here, and this is one of probably 10 that I use, 10 instances of all of this and some other shit. So these are all on basically, you know, so yeah, it's spiccato, you know, all this shit. So you have woodwinds, strings in different octaves. So you see this one is up an octave here, but they're all going to the same input. So you can see that is all coming from one note. But the arpeggiator is on, so it's gonna, if it wasn't, then, you know, it would just be normal. But I found out how to manipulate these specific chords with the arpeggiator, so it did a cool thing. There is another, but anyways, I'm getting off track now. So more strings at the bottom. So you have a shitload of brass and different pannings, like this. The woodwinds are panned over to the right a little bit. The top string, which is the highest string, is panned over to the left. just to kind of give everything a dimension. I played around with the reverb to give it like, I put it all in the same room, but I kind of just played around with the times depending on where I wanted them in the mix, more reverb for in the back. So I probably did this with, a couple exceptions of the not the same order, but like sometimes I'll put like a glockenspiel on top of it, and you'll hear that soon. So anyways, this is like the main part of the strings. Now it's usually not this easy, but this time it just clicked and I did it. I think once I found that melody, I'm just like, I know what I'm gonna do. Okay. When I get in like the zone like that, a song could be done in a day, or it could, still drag on forever. But usually if I can't finish a song, like when I say finish a song, write a song, and I'm just like, this is the song. Now I got to mix it. Before that, if I can't finish it within usually a week or two, like the actual writing, it's not going to be good. Anything you've heard that I've released, for the most part, there are a couple exceptions, has been really quickly done. If I have to kind of struggle on it, I'm just like, I don't know what to do here. It's probably not going to happen. I do have Spitfire. Honestly, I'm not a huge fan at all. It is very realistic with articulation, but with my kind of music, it needs to be very intense, and they don't. I've not been able to get any. It's very like iffy if it's even, because the timing differences. I know there's a lot of things you can tweak, but I've never been able to tweak it to make it sound, as how I needed it. And this is just the light edition, and this has been better than anything else I've tried. So that's cool. And then basically you have some, here's another one. This is about 8 layers, 8 versions of this, very subtly stacked and like kind of reverb back out. So this is here. Oh, nope, that's the choir. There. So I did tweak a couple of the notes. I'm not sure if I have the MIDI left. I think this actually was the end. I think I tweaked it a little bit. So I had some of the lower layers kind of doing an opposing pattern to kind of make it seem a little more interesting. But yeah, Keenan, like this stuff's awesome, especially for making very subtle like articulations and stuff. It's unbelievable. Like Spitfire is amazing, and but it just but with the exception of hold on, I have one that I use pretty regularly for the brass, Albion 3 Redux, that has some really heavy, like I do use that sometimes. So no, I'm not sure how much Kontakt is right now. But anyways, Kontakt is pretty much an indispensable until I can afford a real orchestra. I can't. I'm just going to do this, and I'm learning new ways to make it more real. So this, then on the other hand, this choir. So that's man, I wish I had it, but this is it's like I think I did it at like 1/4, like 1/4 rate, and then so it's the same things. Let's see if I can do that again here. I'm trying to get through shit as quickly as I can, but basically it's no, God. So that is the same again. That's this choir here. I use the tight ones because that's a problem. Another thing I have is when you use the looser, they sound more real, but they also get really delayed and like really out of sync with everything else. Oh, sick. Yeah, dude, I'd love to see it. That's all. Oh, a standalone. Damn. Yeah. Wait a minute. I think I saw an email about the BBC ones. Yes, I would love to talk to you about that. So that is actually this. I'm not sure if I'm going to be, I know I tweaked something. So this is the phrases version of the same instrument. I did put quite a bit more reverb, and I cut out a lot of the lower mids, and I of the EQ in the middle, and then on the sides, I really took some stereo depth and tried to bring it out. Let's see. Nope. Let's see. Okay, I definitely... Hold on. Okay, so you get the idea of what I did, though. I probably... Okay, yeah, so it was just... I just took it into bars here. Oh, I wonder if this is it. No, that was me playing around. So, basically, with the... with this particular one, like, I'm about to hit my keyboard here. Every time I hit a note, it changes the vowel. Normally I would do that by hand with like Requiem, but this one, I just bought this and I was I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. Let me just do this. So I use the same thing. I made it, a little more of like a bass for the melody rather than following the same pattern, because like choirs probably aren't going to do that usually. So anyways, so I just made it kind of stick with the bass to kind of harmonize with it. So this is what it does. I'm going to hit F. So it's just going to kind of do a round robin of like different phrases and stuff, which for this worked out perfect because it sounded very good. I think I did 2 or 3 layers of that. I just stacked them all, then kind of just panned them. So that was fun, man. This song was so much fun to make. But so yeah, like it sounds really huge, but it's actually pretty simple. This particular one was pretty simple. Side note, I believe I used the Hans Zimmer percussion for this. Just a big ass. It was a couple layers of the stack. I believe it's a Hans Zimmer contact instrument. This shit was amazing. All right, let's see. So, I mean, honestly, that's pretty much it for the strings. So, all together, it sounds a lot bigger than a lot of things may seem. I think this one was one of the smaller project layers I've had, and I was pretty proud of myself, because usually I try to throw out all this shit and I have to like scale myself down, like, Brandon, you gotta stop going over the top of the shit. Like, you gotta like figure out one thing, how to make it awesome, instead of a million ideas. This one was one of those times where I was just like, let's fucking go, and it worked. So thank you, man, I appreciate it. Yeah, dude, his collection for orchestral percussion is unbelievable, as you would expect. It's expensive though. Vocals, I will get to show you the really simple process behind like that swarm vocal that I use, just like a vocoded. I've used it on every project, not necessarily every song, but every project I've ever released. It's a lot of fun to make, but this is it's just ran through a vocoder. And I did a reverse reverb to go into it. I think I used, the Hollis Shimmer is an unbelievable plugin for effects, like reverb effects. It's not really that good for just regular reverb, but it's amazing for, like, there's a reverse kind of, not necessarily a setting, but it's easy to do. Like, if you diffuse it at a certain point, it'll kind of rush back, and it's amazing at the end. Then I'll just take that sample and flip it, so it just comes to the beginning instead of the tail. Sampling things of my own is definitely one thing I pride myself in, because a lot of these sounds, especially my own, my like synth fills, a lot of those things are just things I've repurposed, and it doesn't even sound the same, but I've resampled it and then just fucking distorted it to shit. So it just all kind of depends there. Okay, so that is about it. And then you have me, which is why it's called Brandon at the end here. It's just me saying blood. And I recorded that here. Blood. Yeah, blood. Brock, I haven't yet. I would definitely like to, but when the time is right. I hope that that opportunity comes to me. Let me adjust my mic here. So yeah, that's about it. So altogether, it sounds quite a bit different than. Okay, so I'm trying to think. Did I miss anything? Oh wait. Oh, somebody wanted to know the choir I was using. The children's choir was Genesis. It's called Genesis. There's a lot of articulations or vowels that you can use. I got it on sale, and it's really cool. It's very harsh, so you have to like really like bring down the highs a lot. But it was really cool. But yeah, it's called Genesis for Kontakt. So yeah, altogether, the sub. I think I was using this one. I have a combination of LFO Tool, Little Clipper. Little Clipper has been my best friend ever. Thank you, Ryan Zumob, for showing me that. See, as somebody asked, this sub is chained to the metal kick at, let's see, where are we at here? Nope. But it's a very small amount. So 200 and below, it's being chained to, it's being, or not chained, it's being cut to make room for this kick. So that allows everything to kind of breathe a little bit. And it took a while to get the sub as powerful as I wanted it, but I was really happy with the way that came out. Big ass hits. This was another layer on top of those crazy things I heard earlier. So like this and this, which I just called Mammoth. So it has this just like a buzzy layer on top, because that layer I put on a lot of things because it gives a nice little grit to it. Do I sometimes try to make my own choir? I'm not sure I understand your question. You mean like make my own instrument? If so, no. I don't have a desire to be a sound designer. I just want to make music at all. Or that's all I want to do is make music. That's dope. Yeah, see, that's how I use the soft clipper, and I will show you as the last, really, because I just wanted to go more in depth on this one. I'll show you All Hope Is Lost because we have a decent amount of time here. But All Hope Is Lost is a lot more raw. You know, I didn't know as much at the time, even though it wasn't that long ago. It's still 6 months ago, or whatever. So I've learned. That's the one thing I've learned in making music is you will never stop learning, and if you do, you're probably wrong. Record your vocals requires? No, because I can't sing. You would rather die than hear me sing, believe me. Nice, that's dope. Thank you for telling me that. Yeah, no, you really don't want to hear me sing. But then these are all bounce, but these are very basic effects here. So these are just emphasis on the synth, the little deathcore sounds and shit. You just don't really hear them. But it's little things like this that can give you like an edge to make something sound really big. And so all in all, did I miss anything? Let me show you. I use a program. Oh, this is a good one. So drums. Yo, have a good one, man. My drums, I use Perfect Drums is the program I use. And in this particular area, like you can see all the MIDI that I did for this. And there's also a lot grayed out. So like I said earlier, I input all of the simple sounds. Sometimes I'll do them on my little keyboard, especially the cymbals. And then I will divide them into kick, snare, or just basically a kick group, the toms and snares, and then the cymbals. And then I'll export them out, or I'll put them on different tracks and then tweak them how I like this, like this kick here. I actually I process this kick a little differently than some of my other ones. So I actually have this in a sampler now, in an Ableton sampler that I just use straight up now. So I don't have to worry about processing it because it's just good to go straight out the box. But that's another thing. If you make a sound you like, use it, repurpose it, know what the strengths of it and its weaknesses and all that kind of shit. So this is, I was trying to make this middle part here. Thank you, Ashley. Okay, so that's going over this part. So what that is you could see the kick here. Again, like I had to put this all in together, then I took it to its own track to process it. So it's just a straight 4/4 kick, besides a couple of things at the end here when the toms. So this is what it sounds like without the kick. And that was a mistake, and I think I had to cut that out post. Sounds pretty weird because it's not complete until you have this and everything's processed nicely. And you can hear on its own, there's a lot of, I don't put everything right on beat. I try to move it a little bit off, because like when you hear a drummer live, it's going to sound awesome if he's a good drummer, but you're also going to hear some like normal human timing. Like that's part of it. And that's why I try to make it a little less mechanical sounding. On the fills, I'm just doing, you can see I cut a little bit of the highs off. I rolled off the bottom. I had to kind of work on some of the things were a little sharp, but these are panned. So you're going to see, as you can see, like these are, a little more to one side than the other, but that's how drums are. And I like them like that. But then in fills, so then you got the build up here. I had already made this and exported it with a filter that opened up for the build up. There you go, it's just like that. Thank you. Yeah, that's perfect drums, but it's a lot of external processing too. The toms, I used I don't think it'll have it on it, Ozone 9. I believe it's Dynamics, and I used this multiband compressor here. So it's like basically two multiband compressors at like lower weights to get them. I also had to use a little bit of a gate to clip off because they were a little too crazy sounding. But I'll unfreeze this real quick. But again, like even here, they don't sound as big. You have a lot of output going on the high and mid, but I trim that off later, but it gives it like an extra punch in the higher register. I'm using the Dynamics here. So I'm actually increasing the high end a lot here, but again, just like this multiband compressor, both of these compressors are working to get that high end more of like a studio drum hit, because on its own it doesn't I basically crush these drums in like a tasteful way, because on their own they're pretty, they're not too hot. They're good. Yeah.
Make your music stand out, get more views, and way more engagement. Bring your music to life. Get Music Visualizer. In every format, even for social media. Get started today. The link is in the description.
Yeah, definitely, Blake. Yeah, you can see I had to limit it. I usually try not to limit things when I do it, but this one was just punching through. I should have probably soft clipped it in retrospect, but hey, it turned out well. So this multiband compressor, I use this on a lot of stuff. And then the Dynamics module from Ozone 9 is killer because you can just go through. And you can see I left the bottom on a little bit of had a little bit of gain to it, so shouldn't have done that, and I had to cut it out. So learn from my mistakes. And then right in here, I definitely have this, because this area, like the 150 to 500-ish, has a lot of that power, but you got to kind of tame it. So I definitely had to tame that a little bit. But I think this went through these three, this processing, and oh yeah, and it goes through Vitamin, which is like an old Waves plugin that for some reason gives this kit that I've like kind of tweaked over the past year. It gives it a lot more like grit, and it just sounds good. So I would say a combination of Vitamin, which is a multiband compressor. It's just a lot of fucking compressing, and like kind of slamming the high end to a point where it's not just squashed, but it still has its, the transients and everything, but it's not, there's less dynamics than there would be in a real drum kit, basically. I do soft clipping on individual and groups, depending on what needs. I soft clip the fuck out of everything. I master my music, yep. So I started using it more. I don't know why this is here. Oh, I was showing that as an example earlier. I started soft clipping more probably 2 months ago when I really figured out, yep, clipper there. So you got the clipper on the bass. I think the original samples of my snare were soft clipped a fuck. Let's say, oh, come on. You can hear that has a ton of smash in the high end, but it's also like, it's very small. Like here's the sample that I exported from all these layers. It's super small, but it has so much power. But I soft clipped the fuck out of that. I pretty much everything in here, besides like the orchestration and the effects, and some of them, a lot of the melodics, I don't usually have to soft clip anything, but I do it on, here's the last part of my puzzle here, is my master group. And as you can see, I have a little clipper on that. It's just a default setting though. So this just catches all those little peaks that'll come through. If I exported this waveform without this, there would be a lot more like hard edges that would make it way harder to get volume, to get like a cleaner sound. Yeah, legacy waves are really cool. I do not clip on saturator or glue compressor. I clip on little clipper. Sometimes on the glue compressor, I'll hit the soft clip button if it seems like it needs it. But this plugin is, again, super cheap. They have a big version, but I don't really need it. I don't think. Maybe I'll try it one day. But this is, and I, of course, you know, when I export, I don't have a limiter on. I hit it right around -6, I think. I had a problem with harshness on this one, and I had a problem with a little bit of low end. So I tried this on it, and I tweaked it a little bit, and it really smoothed everything out. And the end product was like super not harsh, and I was so excited about it. Little Clipper does not have oversampling. Nope, it's a simple plugin that works better than anything else I've tried. It's like $30. No oversampling, no nothing, except you choose how much to squash it up and you choose how much to squash it down. And you know, there's a dry, wet, and everything, but there's not an oversaturator. So that is Blood. That is that's how I made that. I think there was probably 160 tracks total, like before I squashed everything, and then, you know, bounced and bounced and bounced. And I know that, you know, bouncing after to a point, you know, or after a point can be bad because, you know, you could kind of fuck up the original signal. But when it comes to synths, I bounce and bounce and bounce and could consolidate because, one, my computer is going to have a stroke. And two, I like that it gives it more of like a grittier sound. You know, if somebody has evidence to say on the otherwise, that's fine. But, you know, it worked for this, and I really, really like it. So I am going to open up All Hope Is Lost. No, do not save, just in case I need that. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. We have 15 minutes left, so I can go into All Hope Is Lost, but it's pretty much the same, just a little more orchestration, but you're not really going to see much. Or you can just ask me stuff. Or we could do both. Separate masterings with different loudness. Nope. Well, not usually. Usually they're the same. Usually I'm hitting, I don't, even though it might sound like it sometimes, I don't smash it. If I'm below or if I'm above, like, you know, I try not to get it too loud. If it's, there's a point where you have diminished returns that I've found, because my song has a lot of transients and a lot of dynamics because of the nature of all the different kicks I used and all that kind of good stuff. Like, and the way a lot of it's very staccato, all that kind of good stuff. It needs more room to breathe. Take Me to Hell is the most boring project ever, dude. I love that song, but it is the most straightforward song I've ever written, and I love it because of that. But there's not much. It's Spire. These same kick sounds, just a white noise for the snare, and then a vocoder to process the vocals with chords below it. Yeah. Actually, you'll see how I did that here. The side part is so simple. It's just literally one sound that I just processed until I liked it. That was use Elvo Tool. I used a lot of shit on it though, because it took me a while for me to be happy. So same setup here. If you're not familiar with the song, it has like kind of an industrial-y thing. Oh, that's a little too loud. I don't want to blow your eardrums out. Again, my little group, I didn't soft clip this one because I wasn't soft clipping a bunch of shit. Oh, dude, I could have just done this. And then again, like both of these songs are unmastered, so these are what I export to master. So that's my vocal, and I'll give you the gist of it here. And then here's, now we have my chorus. Spire has a way warmer sound, and it takes way less to get like a very rich, analog-y kind of sound out of it rather than Spire. Like Devil's at Your Door, Take Me to Hell, Spire. Without Spire, it would have been just so much harder to get those warm sounds because Serum is so cold. It takes so much processing to make it sound even remotely warm. Now, I love Serum, but it's not going to work for anything like those. The more straightforward songs like Devil's at Your Door, it needs a very warm feel without a ton of processing, and Spire will give that to you like right out of the box. Process to put my leads through. I find what I like to hear, then I'll go through. I save all my groups. I save like I showed earlier. I showed you like I have just a pre-saved rack that I made and then just saved as a group for that. The cello, the distorted cello lead that I went through earlier, and if any of you guys missed that, I'm sure you can go back and watch it. That just is, I've worked so long on like trying to make that how I wanted it to sound that I can now just drop it. If I think it needs that sort of whiny, like very glidey sound, I'll use that, or I'll try orchestration first. But as far as processing goes, the leads I use aren't very complex. Technically speaking, so they don't do a ton of processing, but I just save, like here's my Serum. I save all of these I use in many songs. Like these are 808. That's a good, I know just off the top of my head, this is good for F sharp and G bass, bass layer. That's what I put on top of Plux to make it really nice and crisp. It's a very, very small thing. I named shit so dumb. Like, look at this. Fuck Yes 2. Disgusting. Demons with a Z. Industrial Later. Holy shit in all caps. Plant. Like, Talking Bass 2. Yeah, like, I just save things that, like, I just remember it by now because this is just my thing. Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate that. Loud as your track effect performing it live. This song I could not get past. It was much quieter than my other tracks because there was so much stuff. Hey, thanks for coming, man. I appreciate it. Oh, hey. Yeah, dude, they're amazing. We have a song, finishing up a song with them. But let me show you this real quick and then you can ask me and then we can, yeah, oh boy, we're running out of time. Okay, so chorus, again, this is my thing, I just run with it, so this is the chorus. So that is a lot of layers. That's sick. That was a very it's a very simple melody, but it has, as you can see, here's the brass and woodwinds. Woodwind, they add that really nice texture to it. And then here's what I was talking about earlier, the glockenspiel. This adds so much texture to orchestral elements, dude. Oh my god. So here's without it. Okay, there's that. Now with it. So it just adds that extra crispness to make it pop through the mix, and it also just sounds awesome. So that's how I make strings, and I only put it on the second half because I wanted to have a little bit of variation. And in this case, I didn't feel like I could go any variation with the melody, so I just added another little high thing on top of it that I was just like, damn, this is dope. I'm putting it on. Fuck yeah. I don't know what I'm saying. Okay, so then in the background we got some I believe I was just fucking around with some pads and contact there. just kind of going octaves up and down. And then here I also have a transgate that's automated here. Let's see if you can't hear that. Gosh. Okay, well, there we go. So same thing, just used a little differently. Lower mids cut out of it and all that kind of stuff. And then here are, let's go over the side part real quick, but you can see there's a lot of atmospheres. These are all, that one was a sample there. It's like a bit crush riser. I just thought it sounded cool, so I used it. Like these ones are all, those sample packs I give away that I just let people download. These are all, that's what this is. Like that, they're my sounds that I've like just fucked around with, whether it be like granular or putting, you know, serum on, or putting like a distortion on serum and then just fucking around with the keys. But I just labeled it what it is, the BPM, all that kind of good stuff, and I just give it away, or I use it. In this case, I used it. I might have given it away too, but got some screeches here. Lots of reverb on that. I love Pro R, is amazing. Again, same idea here with the drops. Literally the same idea. I believe I used Ableton's, was it granulizer on that one? Whatever the new Ableton granulizer was. It was just really cool. I like that. There's also one from Audio Damage, Quanta. It's really cool. Okay, so again, you know, we've already went through that, so it'll be easy to not really do that. So now the side part. This is the first time I've ever had Psy in a song. Kinda, like this is more actual, you know, traditional Psy rather than like in my Coyote remix. There was like, it was more of like a pulsy Psy than, but this, is what that is. I just have it automated to cut off everything until the very end. Ups. I love this song. You can hear a lot of the differences in like my the way I, you know, do my drum fills and stuff. They sound a lot better now because, you know, I've learned more ways. That's the biggest thing. There's so many ways to not do something, and I've learned all of them. That's definitely it. So here's the Psy. It's literally one note. I'm not gonna pull any punches here. This is and then it stutters here. It's frozen because this mound of shit just destroyed my computer. If I unfreeze this, it's going to be the end of this conversation. So, so you can see here, I'll zoom in a little bit here. So you can see it's just, then you have those little wonderful little change ups there. Like, so just like that, there's Bit Crush on it. There's a couple multi-band compressors. You know, I do the car test a lot, and some of it wasn't doing it for me, so it's just a serum, like a very simple sharp as fuck pluck. And then again, I have that multiband, another multiband. Ozone 9's low end focus is a really cool tool for really honing in on, in kind of a different way, exactly what frequency you want to go to. And then a little bit more EQing, a filter for this part here, you know, when it kind of swooshes in here. You can see it. So that took a while to get, but I believe I also had trash on it. Yeah, I definitely have trash on it somewhere. Or maybe, yeah, there was trash to it. There was I found a way to like make the lower end kind of really, really punchy without like, without sounding like it. It just had a really great feel to it. I love, no, Ableton Mobile, man. Wherever you are, Ableton's there. I hope they come out with that, and I hope I'm the spokesperson for it. So these screeches were very simple in Serum. We can't really hear that, but I know somebody was talking about vocals, so I'll go over that real quick. Oh God, I'm almost out of time, but I'm gonna show you real quick. Then we're gonna talk. Then I'm gonna say goodbye and I love you. Hold on. So vocal, I use a site acapella box, and I have gotten. There's a lot of settings, and you can do different words by typing them in, and I export them. But I have found a way to make that, like, how to pronounce stuff over the years. I've learned how to pronounce it right, like how to get it to say it right, because it's very machine-like, and how to get it low and gritty, and then just put a fuckload of processing on it after that. So here is what that is. That's obviously ran through a vocoder. And then I have some big chants that I got out of Serum. I believe it was, I forgot exactly what it was, but then I have that layered over the vocal. This is not processed with a vocoder, but vocoder, whatever. So that's just a plain talk. It's that's simple. I did have to run this through Nectar because it was too harsh, and I have all this shit. A lot of Saturn, of course, is awesome. Super compressed. They come out mono, so you have to like you have to kind of expand it if you want to. So it'll be. All hope is lost. And then I kind of pan this one back and forth here. Yep. And I just repeated it and then kind of just washed it out there. The sub on this is pretty straightforward, but the choirs, I like this a lot. So this just came in between in the chorus part. Yep, just super, but together. There's a lot of stacks of that. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty solid. Sorry we didn't get to go into more detail with that, but we really spent a lot of time on Blood. But I hope that you learned some cool shit. When writing your melodies orchestration, do you do it all in piano first, make a melody with a sound, and go to the next sound? No, I don't do it all. Well, yeah, it depends. Like if it's not a complete melody, like if it's like a hint, which I do a lot of foreshadowing to like main melodies. If it's a hint, I'll kind of I'll either sample a piece from the earlier one and put it, wherever I need it. But it's usually, nothing is as straightforward as that with me. I work really weird. So usually if I have one good idea, a lot of good ideas will happen down the road from that. So it's definitely more of, once I get one out, then I'll figure out other things to go around it. So yeah, usually I'll have a complete, at least like a top piece of a complete melody, like that overarching melody I don't have the chords yet usually that has to come later, but yeah, usually that's all laid out in the same spot once I get it. That's how I usually start songs, honestly, is I'll figure out a melody, then I'll figure out the bass to put under the melody, then I'll figure out all the extra cool shit. So Steve, thanks for being here. Acapella Box, I believe. I think it's a UK site. Blake, thanks for coming. Thank you everybody for coming. Thanks for having me. This was a lot of fun. It would be awesome if you listen to my music on Spotify or Apple Music. I have a new song coming out early next month, and Blood with Caster's out now, so that'd be awesome to listen to. Since you've just learned all of the guts of it, it'd be cool to watch it. No, you're the bomb. Oh, shit, thank you. Yeah, I do stupid fucking videos, so I'm glad you like those. But yeah, if you guys need anything, just hit me up directly, like on Twitter. Everything is at House of Swarm, so I'd really appreciate that if you'd follow me. I'm going to put that in the comments here. Okay, well that didn't work. Yep, there you go. Little Clipper. Oh, damn it. What the hell? Whatever. At House of Swarm. Yeah, thank you guys. Little Clipper is not essential, but it's essential for me, with how I work. So, your mileage may vary. So thank you guys. I will see you soon. Bye-bye now.